Welcome back to In History. Today we're exploring one of the most unusual crusades, the Sixth Crusades. Led by the Holy Roman Emperor Frederick II, this crusade stands out as a triumph of diplomacy over warfare, where Jerusalem was reclaimed without a single battle. Join us as we uncover how Frederick II achieved what no crusader before him had been able to do with words rather than swords. The Sixth Crusade began not with a call to arms, but with political intrigue. Holy Roman Emperor Frederick II, known as Stupa Mundi, or Wonder of the World, was a man of many interests: science, philosophy, and languages. But despite his promises to the Pope, Frederick had repeatedly delayed his crusade, sparking distrust within Christendom. The papacy, particularly Pope Gregory IX, was frustrated with Frederick. After several failed attempts to depart on his crusade, Frederick was even excommunicated. Yet in 1228, he set sail for the Holy Land, determined to fulfill his vow. But he wasn't leading an army of thousands. Instead, he embarked on a mission of diplomacy, hoping to negotiate a peaceful return of Jerusalem to Christian control. Frederick's relationship with the papacy was strained. His excommunication was not just a religious punishment, but also a political challenge. Even as he embarked on the crusade, his status as an excommunicated ruler cast a shadow over his mission, leading some crusaders to question his legitimacy. Despite this, Frederick pressed on. His determination to proceed under excommunication revealed his confidence and conviction. He saw an opportunity to establish control over Jerusalem by forging an alliance with Sultan al-Kamil, the ruler of Egypt and the Ayyubid dynasty, who also controlled Jerusalem. This approach marked a stark departure from the military campaigns of his predecessors. Frederick's arrival in the Holy Land was unconventional for a crusader. Rather than immediately taking up arms, he engaged in talks with al-Kamil. They shared a mutual respect, as both men were knowledgeable in science and culture and even spoke the same language, Arabic. Al-Kamil, who had faced Frederick's forces during the Fifth Crusade, saw an opportunity for diplomacy. What made Frederick and al-Kamil's negotiations unique was not just their mutual respect for diplomacy, but also their shared interest in knowledge and culture. Frederick was known for his intellectual curiosity. He spoke multiple languages, including Arabic, and was well versed in the works of Muslim scholars. This gave him a level of understanding and respect for the Islamic world that was rare among European leaders at the time. Frederick and al-Kamil exchanged not only terms of peace, but also ideas on philosophy, science, and culture. According to accounts, they discussed mathematics, astronomy, and medicine, topics that fascinated Frederick and were foundational in al-Kamil's court. This cross-cultural dialogue showed that even amidst religious and political tensions, there could be a meeting of minds. Through these discussions, Frederick likely gained insights into the advancements of the Islamic Golden Age, which had preserved and expanded upon classical knowledge. This exchange demonstrated that the Crusades were not just clashes of armies and ideologies, but also moments of cultural interaction that subtly shaped both sides. Al-Kamil was dealing with threats from other Muslim rulers and had no desire for another protracted war with the Crusaders. Frederick, aware of these pressures, used them to his advantage, securing favorable terms. The Treaty of Jaffa was signed in 1229, granting Jerusalem, Bethlehem, and Nazareth to the Christians, while Muslims retained control over sacred sites like the Al-Aqsa Mosque and the Dome of the Rock. This diplomatic victory was unprecedented. For the first time, a crusade had regained Jerusalem through negotiation rather than conflict. The treaty was seen as both a success and a compromise, satisfying many, yet angering others who wanted a more total Christian control over the Holy Land. While many crusaders celebrated the peaceful acquisition of Jerusalem, Frederick's diplomatic approach didn't sit well with everyone. Pope Gregory IX was furious, denouncing Frederick's actions as inadequate and sacrilegious. From the Pope's perspective, a true crusader should have conquered Jerusalem, not compromised with the infidels. Frederick's return to Europe was met with a mixed reception. The Pope excommunicated him again, accusing him of abandoning the true mission of the Crusade. Despite this, Frederick's achievement brought a decade of peace to the region, and he was hailed as a hero in some circles for his ability to secure Jerusalem without bloodshed. In March 1229, Frederick entered Jerusalem and, in a symbolic gesture, crowned himself King of Jerusalem. This act was both defiant and symbolic, as Frederick claimed the crown not through papal endorsement, but as a sovereign ruler. He sought to establish a peaceful rule in the city, allowing Christians and Muslims to live together under mutual agreements. However, Frederick's rule in Jerusalem was brief. With threats from the church and internal opposition from the local Christian leaders, he soon found his position untenable. After only a few months, Frederick departed, leaving the fragile peace he had established vulnerable to future conflicts. Despite his efforts, the region would continue to be a hotbed of tension. Jerusalem would eventually fall back into Muslim hands after a few years. But Frederick's Sixth Crusade remained a unique chapter in the history of the Crusades, one that achieved its goals not through conquest but through dialogue, and that left a lasting legacy on the politics of the region. The Sixth Crusade highlighted the power of diplomacy and the complexities of religious politics. Frederick's willingness to negotiate with Al-Kamil showed that even in the era of the Crusades, not all conflicts needed to be resolved through violence. He became both a controversial and admired figure, exemplifying how personal ambitions, religious fervor, and political savvy could shape the medieval world. While his actions didn't prevent future conflicts, Frederick's approach paved the way for other leaders to consider diplomacy as a tool, even amid religious strife. The Sixth Crusade, often overshadowed by its predecessors, offers valuable insights into the potential of peaceful resolution in even the most volatile of circumstances. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below on what ancient mystery you'd like us to explore next. Until next time, keep seeking knowledge. See you next time on In History.